What is up, guys? I am Megan. That is Shannon. We are the Slash Slash Sweethearts, and today we are going to swallow our pride and say what predictions we may have gotten wrong already, but some changes for the future for sure.
Yeah, this will be kind of fun, actually. We're getting pretty close to mid-season mark, even though, some teams like the Devils have only played 10 games, others have played close to 20. But I think it's going to be really good to look at kind of where we thought teams were going to fall and where they're falling right now.
We have our old division ranking predictions set up here, and we'll tell you guys kind of what we called wrong so far and where we think they're going to go. So, Shan, give it to me. What's first?
First off is the Central Division.
Well, okay. I'm going to say a controversial thing first. The Lightning is still number one in the division like today. I still have them number one I don't have them number one in my picks anymore because I do think they're going to fall. But with that being said, I just do. I just do. There's like always those things where it's like sometimes you have like stats, like you can look at the stats all you want and be like, oh, this person's the best shooter or whatever. When you get to the North, like that's a joke. Like, why does Edmonton suck? But it's like one of those things where it's like you just have a feeling. I just have a feeling that they can't maintain this. But that's just my gut. The Stars are not number 2. They're actually number 6 right now. But I am leaving them at number 2 because they are behind in games. They only have 12. Some teams like the Chicago Blackhawks have 17. So they're behind still. So I think that's why they hurt in the points game. I think Dallas will come back. Hurricanes, I think, are going to stay. I have them as number 3 here. I have them moving up to number 1, and they're number 3 in actuality right now. And I think that's going to hold. They're going to stay in the top.
I'm curious why you have the Hurricanes as the one moving up, but I'm also curious about what you're thinking in terms of the competitiveness in the division right now and how that's kind of going to play out for the rest of these rankings. I mean, I have the Blue Jackets in 5th, the Blackhawks I bumped down the Predators as well. But I mean, a lot of these teams, I think it's a toss-up, like you said. I mean, I keep the Lightning at 1. They are the defending Stanley Cup champion, and it's really hard to ignore their natural talent. But
you also only bumped up the Panthers 1.
I only bumped them up 1 so that I could bump the Blackhawks down, quite frankly.
Right, but like the Panthers are doing pretty good. I kind of think they're going to keep doing well.
I don't know that I disagree. It's just that I feel so lackluster about the Central Division.
I mean, they're number 2 right now, and you don't even have them making anything. Like,
yeah, but you said the Stars are number 6th right now, and you have them 2nd.
But they're last in game count. If you look at the Stars would be above, they would be in at least 5th by percentage, and then just behind number 4, which is the Blackhawks, which we all agree fall. But I still stand by that they're going to come up. They have games to make up, and it'll happen.
I appreciate the confidence, but I also think that you're just confident with the Stars because you want the alternate jersey.
I want the jersey!
I want the jersey too, but I'm not about to tell them they're going to be in 2nd place for that jersey.
I don't know. Maybe they will end up in 2nd, but I do think that they're going to be higher than where they are now, which is 6th. I think they will be in the top 4 for sure. But I think it's kind of a toss-up. Like, the competitiveness of this division is really between the Hurricanes, the Stars, the Lightning, and the Panther right now. You can put them in any order you want, but that's really where it is.
I think it's interesting that you're leaving out the Blue Jackets. I mean, the Blue Jackets last week were in the 1st place in the division.
Yeah, but then they fell 5th. I think they're. I'm not saying they're bad. Like, I think they're a good team. I think like maybe they'll be competitive with someone in the end for 4th, but like they're not going to like clinch number 1. Sorry, Alex, they're just not.
I have at number 2. I mean, I think that, they're maintaining competitiveness. John Tortorella is an aggressive coach. And like I said, the Central Division is just a toss-up. And you know what?
I saw a funny meme about him today.
All right. Okay. The West Division.
West Division. I have left my Golden Knights at the top. I have left the Avalanche in number 2. And I have left the Blues in number 3.
Yeah, you were pretty on point for those first three. I mean, I just swapped the Golden Knights and the Avalanche. I think the Avalanche are reasonably underwhelming at the moment, but most of my movement was in the bottom half for this.
Yeah, I moved the Ducks up to 5th. I moved the Coyotes up to 4th. I moved the Sharks down to 6th. And then I'm kind of wishy-washy with the Wild and the Kings for 7 and 8.
Yeah, so although I love their reverse retro jerseys, the Wild are bad. They're plummeting down. Except my hot take here, I have my Duckies in 4th, and maybe it's just because I want their jersey too, but I mean, they don't look bad right now, but again, after number 3 in the West, the competitiveness just plateaus completely.
I could totally see that. You and I, we both have, between the Yotes and the Duckies, I think everyone should appreciate our nicknames for these teams, as 4 and 5. And I think it could go either way. I just think for the West, it's a very, very strong differentiation between the top 3 and the bottom 5. I think it's not really going to be messed with. Those 3 could be any formulation of each other. Like 1, 2, 3 is kind of a toss-up, I feel. Maybe 1 and 2. I think the Blues are pretty solidly in 3rd. But that could change, and the bottom 5 could change, but I don't think they're really going to cross the lines there.
Yeah, I mean, the only other hot take that I kind of see is I think the Blues could potentially, if they can get the momentum going, take it from the Avs, take the second spot from the Avs.
Yeah,
only because
I mean they're second right now.
Yeah, the Avs.
They're second right now by 3 points too.
There's definitely game differential there, though.
Yeah, but only 3.
I mean, that's still.
I mean, Vegas is still 2 games behind the Blues, and they're up by a point. I think it just speaks to how great Marc-Andre Fleury is as a goaltender.
Okay, well, their helmets
numerous shutouts. Someone asked me this on our live last week, and I hadn't seen them yet, so I was like, oh, I don't know. They're awful. Shannon posted a really good GIF on our Twitter, if you guys haven't seen it, and it just looks like someone went up to it and was like, okay, brainstorm session. Let me think. Gold. Great. Everywhere. And then everyone was just like, yeah, gold. But no, that is where gold needs to draw the line.
The East. Much to discuss.
Oh, okay. We both made the first move. We were giving number 1 to the Bruins.
Quote Megan now. She put the Bruins in first, everyone. She did it. She has finally bowed down.
I've been making some really controversial quotes about supporting the Bruins lately. I don't know what I'm doing.
She's going to get a Bruins jersey. Just watch. We both have the Bruins in first. You maintained I maintained the Capitals in second, and you put the Flyers in second, which I thought was interesting because they're looking very streaky these days.
Let me tell you why. I lost faith in the Capitals because they are 0-3 against the Penguins. And if they were going to be a number 2 team, they would have to be able to beat us. That's also why I left the Penguins in 4th, because they're beating teams like the Capitals. So they're still a contender while they have wild defensive issues. I think they're pulling out wins, but the Capitals are also having weird losses.
Yeah, I think all the top teams in the East, which there's a lot of them because the East is incredibly competitive, but they're all taking weird losses, like really frustrating losses as a fan. And I think that's something to really note. Like, I bumped the Islanders down to 6th because they've taken a lot of dumb losses, but they're not even like a bad team. Like, I don't feel right putting them in 6th.
I don't understand how you put the Devils in 4th in this little situation.
They look good. The Devils look good.
Shannon, they're in 6th place in the actual rankings. They're behind the closest person, which is the Penguins, by 3 points. And I just... They
can't seem to be healthy. They've played 10 games.
They're ill.
But they had no rust on them in their game back. They looked good.
We'll revisit this in a month.
I think
the Devils we're tabling the issue of the Devils. We're going to come back to it for sure. And if not, we're going to fight it out on our live tomorrow, Thursday.
I can't wait to watch the Bruins and the Devils. It'll be a competitive game because the Devils are a good team.
I'm playing the Islanders, which you did put right below the Penguins. So I hope that the Penguins will take that.
I think those are pretty equally matched teams in terms of they both have pretty comparable weaknesses in terms of how significant their weaknesses are, not where they are, because the Islanders have fantastic goaltending and the Penguins do not, whereas the Islanders need more offense and the Penguins do not.
Right. We just need a defensive system altogether. Defensive players, goaltending, mess. But thank God we got some offensive humans.
The only other thing that I will bring up here is that you have the Rangers in 7th and not last, and I cannot fathom a world in which the Rangers are not in last place.
Well, they're not in last right now.
Well, the Sabres haven't played any games because they had COVID.
Actually, they're only 2 games behind the Rangers.
The Rangers have dropped multiple bad losses. They've pushed overtime, and they lose in overtime every single time.
All the time. All the time. These overtime losses, though, that are going to keep the Rangers alive, like, you still get a point.
Yeah, I mean, it might.
When by alive, I mean not last, just to clarify.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about last, we can just swan dive right into our last division.
Remember when you didn't have the Senators last?
This is really where I have to eat my words, because I didn't have the Senators last. I had the Jets last, and I have since moved the Jets up to 3rd because they have made the significant trade with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Patrick Laine. They're really trying to make themselves a contender in the North, and the North is just like the freaking Twilight Zone. Like, I don't understand what's happening up there with the Leafs and the Canadiens actually looking good, Oilers looking bad, the Jets looking good. Like, I don't really know. But the Senators look horrific. As bad as their new logo. Like, I can't fathom. I can't fathom what's happening up there. They're not even entering a rebuild. Like, they're not dumping players yet. They haven't fired their coach.
Bad.
Like, haven't fired their coach. Haven't done. I'm shocked. Like,
maybe they're waiting till the end of this weird season and then they'll get into it. Maybe they're like, let's just accept the loss now. But all these Senators fans on Twitter are so much on the don't count out the Sens, and I'm like, you were counted out 3 weeks ago.
They score a goal and everyone's like, we're contenders. We are in this.
We're coming back. Honey, you're not. Yeah, for our realignments of the North Division, we have everything the same except for 3 and 4. We have the Leafs as number 1, the Canadiens as number 2. I think that's going to stick, and I don't see a world where that changes at all. We have for 3 and 4, Shan has Jets, Oilers. I have Oilers, Jets. I just feel like seeing statistics for the Oilers team, they should just be doing so much better, but they're not. So I don't really know what the deal. That's one of those moments where it's like you would want them on your fantasy team, but you wouldn't want them as your team.
Yes.
That's a hot take from me. I like that. And then 5, 6, 7, we have Flames, Canucks, and Sens rightfully at the bottom.
Yeah, I think.
Not bad.
I don't know. I'm very interested. First of all, the one thing that I do enjoy about the Canadiens doing well is that there's actually hope for a Canadiens-Bruins Stanley Cup, which there will literally never be hope for that again.
Whoa. You think a Canadian team is getting to the final?
More like structurally, there is a possibility for it versus Canadians actually getting there. But in terms of an original 6 rivalry, that would be
really presumptuous.
Incredible. And talk about something that the NHL, that could be the last stand for NHL marketing. If the Bruins and the Canadiens were in a Stanley Cup, imagine all of the things they could do to try to make money back if they didn't mess it up.
But they wouldn't. They won't. And we'll talk about it when it happens.
Poor Canada, but the Leafs are in 1st in the league. I don't even feel bad for them.
Yeah, but look who they're playing against. It's not real. That is not a real lead. You can't count what the Toronto Maple Leafs are doing versus what the Bruins are doing. That is a completely different look. They're 2 points away. So they're literally 1 and 2 in the league right now. You can simply not call the 24 points of Toronto comparable to the 22 points of Boston. You can't. Done. You
heard it here first. Megan's really on the Bruins train right now. So
no, I'm not. I'm just really against the Canadians. Not as individuals, because I'm sure they're great and they say A and that's fun. But I'm just saying the validation of their points is not the same.
In terms of our new standings and where, these teams are kind of falling right now, the important thing for us to look at is who we think is going to move ahead into the playoffs. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
it's really those top fours. If you had to pick one team right now, I know we have like number ones everywhere in these rankings and stuff that are going to be like the top four teams of the Stanley Cup like playoffs. However, I haven't really cared about what the format of that's going to be. But like if you had to pick four teams right now, what would they be? Would they be the top four teams? Because there is one from every division right now.
Well, yeah, so I was going to say, am I picking one from each division or am I just picking four?
Yeah.
If I'm picking one from each division, I'm picking the Bruins, the Golden Knights, the Canadiens. I'm going to go Canadiens over the Maple Leafs because I cannot confidently give the Maple Leafs have not made it past the first round of the playoffs in our lifetime. In our lifetime.
True.
There have been multiple expansion
Not that we're that old, but like we're old enough.
Yeah, I mean, like
we're 90s kids.
But the Maple Leafs have not made it past the first round in the duration of the Columbus Blue Jackets franchise.
That's true.
Like, I can't confidently say that they're going to make it deep into a playoff run. It does not compute.
That's fair. I'll give you that. And then who do you have from Central?
I guess the Lightning. I don't know.
I feel like if in my head the Lightning is like up there with the Canadiens. I just like don't really know what they're doing. This is going to be a wild playoff like year because people are going to get there, and then we're really going to see like if what we've all been saying of like different level of play. The East is just so much higher. Like, are these northern teams going to crash and burn when they start playing against someone of that caliber again, or is it just like, or are we just really on a high horse right now, and then we're going to be like, oops?
I mean, I think so. Like, I mean, what I'm thinking about is when the Bruins went to the bubble last year, they won the President's Trophy last year, and they're in second right now. They go to the round robin, which I believe that's like the one thing I can confirm about the playoffs is that they're doing a round robin again. And the Bruins lost every game of the round robin and ended up in the 4th seed of the playoffs. And I was like, this is bullshit. Like, they're well above the other 3 teams in the East. However, it makes sense. Like, if they weren't, like, I'm picturing however they're going to structure it, X team who has never played, Y team coming in and playing one round robin game, whereas the NHL playoffs are typically 7 games, playing one round robin game, losing them, and then plummeting to the middle tier where they have to play more equally matched opponents.
Yeah. Okay. The top 4 teams from each division will qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs. There are no wildcard teams. The first 2 rounds will be played within the division in a 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 format. So, like, we're going to play our own teams.
That's stupid.
And then those matchups will make for the first 2 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's where things will change. And then the 4 teams that advance will then be reseeded based on their regular season point totals and then placed into a new 1-4-2-3 bracket. So like the East champ and the West champ is going to be an option, which normally isn't. Whoa. Oh my God. I want a Penguins Vegas. It's not going to happen, but like.
You know what? That pisses me off though, because that's like the epitome of the divisions are not biased. The divisions are stacked up poorly. You want to cut out 2 teams from the East and then restructure them. And you're telling me that 2 teams from the Central Division and 2 teams from the North are more deserving than the 3rd seed in the East? No.
Maybe.
No.
Well, I think no, I'm not saying maybe from like my perspective. I'm saying like maybe that's their spiel. This season, I think whoever isn't the winner, like any fandom that doesn't win, who like maybe was a contender, like anyone who makes it into the playoffs is going to say the season was rigged. The season was fake. They don't deserve it. Like, even if it's like, okay, yeah, that team totally deserves it. Like, if Vegas wins, it was fake. Boston wins, it was fake from everyone. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but we thought that last year for the Lightning too, and it's like,
I stand by it.
I'm like, they won a cup. That's good. I mean, I'm more pissed off about the round robin situation than I am like who won it and how they figured out the seeding. which is why I'm really annoyed at how they're going to seed this. I think that's absolutely BS. And I think it's going to really play out when you see the team's point positioning in the league standings throughout the season, when like, you know, X team from the Central Division that's in the 4th seed is like 10 points behind X seed or 4th seed in the East Division, but still makes it.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, it's the same in the NBA too. They're my favorite playoff structure, and they only do East and West, and they take 8 from each side. So it's not divisions or anything like that. But even then, only the top 3 or 4 teams right now in the East are above 500, which is insane. Absolutely insane. So then there's 4 teams that have losing records that are making the playoffs in the East. But in the West, they all have winning records. And there are some teams that are being knocked out that have winning records. But just because of the division they're in, it doesn't matter.
It's all fake. Nothing is real. That's all I have to say. Yo, Vegas 2021. Let go.
There's only one other bit of big news moving into this week and kind of hitting the midway mark, and that is that Lake Tahoe is this weekend.
Shannon, should we talk about the Pooh Bear merch while we're
No, we shouldn't talk about the Pooh Bear merch. Actually, the one thing that I just thought about for Lake Tahoe, beyond the
I thought about getting you something.
Beyond the fact that I've finally seen a couple commercials and, you know, they're pretty subpar, and the fact that they're playing on a golf course, they chose to
drive to Tahoe.
They chose to have the Bruins and the Flyers play each other, and the Avalanche and the Golden Knights play each other, but they're going to be in the same bubble. So why did they not have like the Bruins play the Avalanche and the Flyers play the Golden Knights?
It would throw off the season.
Would it?
Yeah.
Why though? What does it do?
Because you're only playing your division. Like that's, I don't know. It just throws it off.
So I guess it throws it off, but it doesn't really
right now. Well, maybe then you don't play each team evenly. Are you doing that anyway?
Well, it wouldn't matter because there would be 2 East teams in Lake Tahoe to begin with and 2 West teams in Lake Tahoe.
Right, because I guess then all they're losing is the game against that team.
Right.
That's a really good point, Shannon, now that I think about it. That took me a second. Okay, let's take a poll. Should I drive to Tahoe this weekend?
Did you know also, I found this out because I was trying to figure out what day Lake Tahoe was, since there's such poor advertising, I didn't know. And
because you thought it was like last week for the longest time.
I opened.
She was like, it's the 7th. And I'm like, it's the 20th and 21st.
Okay, so I opened the ESPN app and I went to go see what day the Bruins and the Flyers were playing and what time it was at, to see if I should like go to brunch during it, whatever I should do. Point being, I saw that this weekend there's supposed to be a Stadium Series game with the Hurricanes that got canceled. It's like the Honda
I didn't even know about that. Where is the press? I'm sorry.
Literally, where is the media?
I don't know. But regardless, guys, there has been some movement from our original predictions. Not surprised at all. We'll be posting them on our social, Twitter, @SweetheartsPod, Instagram, /sweethearts. Tell us what you think. Tell us why we're wrong, because obviously everyone's going to think we're wrong about something. It's fine. And find us on YouTube and Twitter tomorrow night. Like I said, Twitter, @SweetheartsPod.
And Facebook.
Follow it. Yes, and Facebook. We have a Facebook page now, guys. Check it out. But yeah, we're going live tomorrow. If you're listening on the day this drops, which is Wednesday, we're going live tomorrow, Thursday the 18th at 7 Eastern. Yeah, let's go 7.
7 Eastern.
And we'll be on there with that's the one. I don't know what time it is here. I'm lost. I am lost. Anyway, but find us on social and you can watch our live. It'll be fun. You can comment harassing things at us. We will laugh back at you. So check it out.
Yeah, we will be debating NHL pests in between all of the games. There were too many games. I couldn't pick just one to cover. So I decided that we were going to discuss our 2 favorite men, Tom Wilson and Brad Marchand, and see what you all think about, do you love them? Do you hate them? Is there someone else you hate more? Can't wait to find out.
So much love.